Ever went to a black school, especially a black public school, y'all know people, they gotta do the most. So everybody, ah, yeah, and then it just was a whole mess. What's up, Ty Squad? Welcome back to another video. I hope that you are all doing well and are excited for another video today. So to start, I know that you all probably seen the new intro. Life with Ty is now Ty Squad TV. I changed the name for a couple reasons. The number one reason was that there were like 500 Life with Ties, and it was extremely hard to find my channel, especially now as I'm continuing to build. Maybe in the future, once I had 1 million subscribers or something, we're gonna speak it into existence, it probably would have been easy to find my channel, but for right now, and you know, it just was too many Life with Ties. And hey, since y'all are my Ty Squad, I figure Ty Squad TV, why not? So let's just get into this video. Today I have another story time for y'all. I haven't done a story time in probably since last year sometime, so I thought I'll do another one. And today's story time, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't even know why I'm doing this, but you know, it's all for YouTube and my Ty Squad. So today I'm going to be telling you, I think, 4 of my most embarrassing childhood moments. And once again, I don't know why I'm about to embarrass myself again. They aren't that horrible, but they stuck out in my childhood, so they must have embarrassed me, because that's why they're still sticking in my mind. So without further ado, let me get into embarrassing myself on YouTube in front of the Ty Squad, telling you these stories. Okay, so I think to start these stories off, I'm gonna start with, let's start with the earliest one. Let's try to go into order, even though I'm not exactly sure where 2 of these fall in the order of my childhood, but let's start with the earliest one. So as a lot of you know, I have a lot of cousins, right? And growing up, me and my cousins are, and we are still very close, but you know, growing up, we were always over each other's houses and, you know, spending the night, and especially in summertime, just hanging out. So when it came to us all playing and stuff, we used to play a lot of games and have some fun times. But of course, back in the day, when like the Nintendo came out and the PlayStation, oh gosh, I really feel old saying that, because those games are like 20 years old at this point. But you know, that was kind of a big thing for kids to come all together and let's play a game. However, like I said, there was a lot of us, and well, now my brother is the youngest, but me and him were like the youngest, so I always hung out with my cousins, but I was always that little cousin that at that time was kind of, I guess, not old enough to really, we all played together, but at that young age, this happened when I was probably about like 3, 4, 5, and like 6, around that age group. Of course, they were a lot older, to the point where they were still kids themselves, but playing a little bit more advanced games. So they used to always take turns playing the game. So when one person would die, or when one game was up, you would switch. However, I guess they felt that I was too young and didn't really know how to play the game. So, and you know what, I was always like, I was one of those kids that were like 3 going on 30, because I was so nosy.
Yeah, go. What do you say, Chris? Don't you lose these for your butt.
Don't do what?
Don't you lose these for your butt.
So I don't know how this, like, they pulled this one over on me, but anyway, so I just found this out a couple years ago. So they used to be like, okay, TJ, it's your turn. Now, mind you, I used to get so hyped. I'm sitting there with the controller like,
yeah, come on. Nope, you ain't getting me.
Really going in, just having the time of my life. Come to find out, I was playing the Casper the Friendly Ghost edition, because the remote controller was not, the remote control was not hooked up.
Dumb as hell.
And they used to get me like that every time. I just found this out like a few years ago, that most of the time when I thought I was playing, that I actually was not playing, that the remote wasn't even hooked up. And I don't know how it didn't sync to my brain, that like the movements I'm doing is not really syncing up to these to the movements of the players. But I think I was just so excited to play and so hyped to be playing with my cousins. But yeah, they pretty much got me. I was really playing with a controller that was not even hooked up to the game system at all, thinking I'm sitting there doing the most and I was doing nothing. And I know my cousin's watching. That was mean. And I hope y'all know on this channel, I'm about to start getting into pranks. So y'all better watch y'all back. Even though it's 21 years later,
I got something coming for y'all for that one.
But anyway, so that was an embarrassing. It didn't embarrass me then because I swore that I was playing the game. But now looking back, I'm pretty embarrassed because I was a whole fool. Like, and I don't know why I was really kind of an advanced child. Like, I don't understand how they pulled that over on me. But like I said, they got something coming for that 21 years later. But anyway. Okay, let's get into the next story. What else do I want to embarrass myself telling y'all? Oh, okay. I'm looking down at my phone because I got a few stories written down. The next story is actually when I took my driver's license test. So I was the hype one. I took my permit test. And in Pennsylvania, you have to wait until you're actually 16 to get your learner's permit. And then 6 months after you get your learner's permit, you can try to take your driver's test. So I was the hype one. I went and got my learner's permit on my 16th birthday. Like that morning, the moment I turned 16, I got my learner's permit. And then I scheduled my test for 6 months. Like right after that, I was really hyped to drive. And mind you, I aced my learner's permit, like set down 3 seconds. Bop, 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 bop. So like I was ready for that learner's permit. And all throughout my driving training, you know, I was doing pretty well. And everybody knows on the driving test, the parallel parking is the hardest part. But, you know, that's why me and my parents, we make sure we practice that a lot. Like, for like a couple weeks before the driver's test, I feel like that was the only thing I was practicing at that point, was doing the parallel parking to get past that part. So, honestly, I thought I had this in the bag. So, you know, I'm telling all my cousins, yeah, I'm taking my test today. I'm swearing I'm about to be driving around Mr. Cool that afternoon and everything. As you can see, I'm saying thinking. So you already know that this didn't go. This already didn't go the way I thought it was about to go. So, you know, I get up. It's my time for the driving test. We were waiting there. The man comes. You know, he does the, you know, turn on your blinkers, your windshield wipers, your hazard lights, all that stuff. So, you know, I passed all that part. Then we get to the parallel parking. Now, I was kind of nervous because, like I said, the parallel parking tends to be the hardest part. They have these two big barrels that kind of represent other cars in front and behind you. You know, he says the whole thing that, you know, you have to park within the cones and you can't hit any of the cones. That's an automatic failure because that will represent you hitting the car. Of course, blah, blah, blah. That makes sense. So I do the parking. I feel like I wasn't as smooth as I was when I was practicing, but of course that was probably just the nerves and everything. But I get in between the cones, I don't hit any cones, and then they ask you, do you think you're done? And I'm like, yeah, because once you put the car in park, that's it. Like, you can't readjust yourself or anything like that. So I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Put it in park. So then he goes, can you bring down your driver's side view mirror, like point it down to the ground so he can see the line? So apparently there was the two cones, but there was also a white line that kind of represented, I guess, I don't know, I guess you had to park within the white line in between the two cones. I guess the white line, if you were within the white line, it showed that you were close enough to the sidewalk, whatever. So my front half is within the white line, and he literally goes, so he says, do you see your back tire? I was like, yeah. He was like, it's slightly touching the white line. Literally, like, say my finger's the tire and this is the line. The tire was kind of like literally just touching on it. And I'm like, okay. But first of all, I'm like, okay, that's not a big deal. Because first of all, do y'all see these people parking? Especially around Philadelphia and all these other places. Look like they just threw the car in the parking spot and ran. Like, I'm like, what I did is perfectly fine. So I'm thinking he goes, okay, so go on and pull out. And normally when you pull out, you know, you continue your test. I'm like, oh, okay, because that wasn't a big deal. I didn't hit the cones. He letting me go. So I'm feeling myself like, yes, I passed that. The hardest part is about to be cake. He then, so we get out the parking spot. I look at everything. He then goes, now pull over right here. I'm like, what? Excuse me?
What the problem is?
I'm like, well, we forgot something. He then goes, I'm gonna have to fail you because you were touching that, the white line. I'm like,
the following scene contains language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, ain't this about a bitch? Are you crazy? Bacon frying, biscuit baking, pancake making, ball-headed bastard!
y'all, I swear in that moment I was about to I wanted to crash us both into the building. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. I got so mad. He was still trying to talk about, you did a good job, otherwise I'm gonna start getting caught. I'm like, whatever. I got out the car. I left the door open, the car running. I went up to my, she was like, are you gonna go turn off the car and everything and like close the door? I was, y'all, you don't understand how mad I was, because that particular, and if you're watching, that particular driving instructor, he was real extra. And I knew other people who had fell with him for him just being extra. I think the only way you really passed with him, you had to be a girl or you had to pay him like $50. I really strongly believe it, because my other cousin, who's a girl, you know who you are, she took the test with him, and this man was telling her how to park. Like, of course, she already knew how to park. Like, she was good at parking, but he was giving her tips like, all right, just come on, keep backing it up. I'm like, but you gonna fail me for touching the white line? Y'all don't understand. Like, let me comment. Y'all can see that's still like a sore spot in my heart. All right, my final embarrassing story. I saved this to last, even though this happened to me in elementary school, because I think it was one of those things that really, really, truly, like, embarrassed me. And especially since I went to that irritating school during elementary, no, actually during middle school. I went to the my local neighborhood school, so you already know how that go. So, long story short, let me try to make this as short as possible. So y'all all know back then there were those watches called G-Shocks. They were like really expensive, but everybody had one, and it was like the it watch, right? So, of course, I wanted a G-Shock. So there were these outlets in like New Jersey that everybody was ranting and raving about. It was like an outdoor type of sale. Like they had like different booths and stuff, and people was like, you can get some really nice stuff for cheap or whatever. So I go there with my aunt and my uncle and a few of us. They drive us over there, and we're going shopping and everything. And I come up to the stand that has G-Shock, and I'm laughing at myself because I really already should know how this was going. So I get up to the stand, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. $10 for this G-Shock? These watches are like $100 and stuff. I'm like, yeah, give me a couple of them things.
Durham is here.
So I'm all hype. I'm like, why don't everybody come to these outlets? Like, this is really lit. So I take my, you know, I'm wearing my watch that Monday to school. I'm all hype. Everybody's like, oh, that's a nice watch. That's a nice watch. But it had to be that. You know, it's always that one irritating kid in your class that always think he better than everybody and got up to about, let me see that.
What the hell is even that?
Get out of here. That watch fake.
I'm like, what are you talking about? This watch is not fake. And it was like, what are you talking about? To this day, I still don't understand really. But apparently it was something on the side of my watch that made it like really clear. So it was like the Frogman G-Shock, even though later on I realized that that is a legitimate brand of G-Shocks. But apparently somewhere on my program key, it was supposed to say program, but mine also said Frogman. It was something weird. And apparently my watch was fake. So everybody started laughing at me in class. I just go, trying to slide it off real quick. I was so embarrassed because, you know, I thought I was hot stuff walking around with a $100 watch. But looking back, I should have probably guessed that a $100 watch that was for $10 probably was not a real watch. So that was also my stupidity there. But I don't know. That really always stuck out to me as my most embarrassing moment, because I really thought I was all that walking around school, and then literally the whole class. And y'all, if y'all ever went to a black school, especially a black public school, y'all know people, they gotta do the most. So everybody, and then it just was a whole mess. The teacher trying to calm down the class. Like, it was just so extra for no reason. But I think the moral of that story for all the kids and even adults, look, don't worry about always trying to keep up with all these extra trends and all that for no reason, because it's really not. Honestly, get what you want and get what you can afford at the time. But, and also, I think another moral of the story is kind of use your common sense that if you're going out somewhere and see a Gucci belt for $5, it's probably fake. I'm just going to gander that it's probably fake. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed hearing some of my embarrassing moments. I hope that kind of made you laugh or smile today. And if you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And be on the lookout. You guys, I'm really getting more consistent with this channel, trying to do some collabs. So you're about to be in for some amazing, amazing content. And I hope you all enjoy it. So remember, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm trying to get my subscribers up. And y'all, until next time, Ty Squad, peace. Do you want to join the Ty Squad? One of the littest up-and-coming squads on YouTube? Then just like, comment, and subscribe, and join the squad.